It was a cold, quiet night. The streets were empty. Shops were closed. Street lights flickered. Only one old man walked alone on the footpath. He wore simple clothes, old shoes, a worn-out coat, and a cap covering his gray hair. He looked tired but calm. In his hand, he carried a small black phone. Suddenly, a police jeep stopped near him. Two young officers jumped out. Their names were Officer Imran and Officer Danish. Both were new, proud, and often rude to people. "Hey, old man," Imran shouted. "Where are you going this late?" The old man turned slowly. His eyes were sharp, but his face was peaceful. "Just going home," he replied. Danish walked closer. "Do you have an ID? Show it now." The old man pulled out his ID slowly and gave it to them. Imran laughed. "Look at this. Retired government servant. What were you? A clerk?" The old man didn't answer. Danish grabbed the phone from his hand. "Why do you have this expensive phone? Stolen, maybe?" The old man calmly said, "Please give it back." Imran pushed the old man back. "Don't tell us what to do, old fool." The old man stayed silent. He looked at the two officers and said only one thing. "You'll regret this." The officers laughed louder. "Regret? You think you're someone important?" Without warning, they put him in the back of the jeep. At the police station, things got worse. The officers threw his phone on the table. They joked, made fun of his clothes, and offered him a dirty chair. But the old man didn't shout. He didn't beg. He just sat silently, watching, listening. One junior officer named Assad noticed something strange. The old man was not afraid. He didn't ask for help. His eyes were sharp, like someone who had seen much more in life. Assad felt something in his chest, a strange respect. He didn't understand why. Suddenly, the old man spoke. "I want to make one phone call." Danish laughed. "One phone call? Who will you call? Your old friends?" "They're probably asleep." Imran tossed in his phone. "Go ahead, call your cat." The old man slowly dialed a number. His fingers were steady. The station was quiet now. The old man held the phone close and said calmly, "Tell the commissioner, it's me." Then he hung up. The room froze. Imran looked confused. "Commissioner, what nonsense is this?" 2 minutes later, the station's main phone rang. Senior Officer Tariq picked it up. As he listened, his face changed. At first, he was confused, then shocked, then afraid. He stood up straight, sweating. "Ah yes, sir, I understand." He looked at everyone and shouted, "Who brought this man in?" Imran and Danish stepped forward slowly. "Sir, we thought he was suspicious, just some old man." Tariq stared at them. "Do you even know who he is?" Silence. The old man stood up. Tariq rushed to him, almost bowing. "Sir, we're so sorry. We didn't know. Please sit, please." Imran and Danish looked at each other in panic. Assad whispered to himself, "Who is this man?" 10 minutes later, outside the station, the sound of tires stopped everyone. A black SUV arrived. A tall man in a dark suit stepped out. He walked straight into the station without asking permission. He looked around and then stopped in front of the old man. He saluted him. "Sir, we're here. Everything is ready." The old man nodded slowly. Imran's mouth was open. Danish stepped back, shaking. Officer Tariq whispered to them, "You insulted the wrong man. He's not just retired. He was once above all of us." Imran tried to speak. "Sir, we didn't mean to." The old man raised his hand. "No need." He picked up his phone and walked out, leaving everyone silent. Only one question stayed in the air. Who is he, really? The old man's footsteps echoed as he left the police station. Inside, the silence was heavy. Officer Tariq was still standing with the phone in his hand, his face pale like he had seen a ghost. Imran and Danish stood quietly in a corner, their pride broken. No one spoke. Finally, Tariq broke the silence. "Do you two understand what you've done?" Imran nodded slowly, his voice shaking. "We didn't know, sir." He looked like a regular old man. Tariq's voice became sharp. "He's not regular. That man has more power in his silence than all of us in this station. Assad, the young junior officer, was still staring at the door. He couldn't forget the moment the man on the phone said, "Tell the commissioner, it's me." Outside, the black SUV waited with the door open. The man in the suit walked beside the old man and said softly, "Sir, the commissioner is on his way to meet you. He wants to apologize personally." The old man replied quietly, "I didn't come for apologies. I came to see how far they'd fallen." Back inside the station, officers whispered to each other, "Who is he? Was he a general?" "No. More than that." Assad opened the old man's ID again. There was nothing special, just a retired government officer tag. But now, he looked at the fine print. Classified clearance, level 9. His eyes widened. That level was only for intelligence agents and top-secret national security staff. He suddenly remembered a story his father once told him, a tale about a nameless officer who stopped a terrorist attack without any credit or media, a ghost in the system, a hero no one could name. Could this be him? 15 minutes passed. Tariq received another call, this time from the Home Ministry. "Why did your officers arrest a national hero?" The voice shouted. "Do you understand who he is? Do you know how many missions he led for this country?" Tariq apologized again and again, his hands shaking. He ended the call and turned to Imran and Danish. "You two are finished. But if he forgives you, maybe you'll have one chance." Imran whispered, but he didn't say anything. He just walked away. Assad spoke up for the first time. He said everything, with his eyes. Outside the station, the old man sat quietly on a bench. The man in the suit handed him tea. "You still drink this cheap brewed tea, sir?" He smiled. The old man nodded. "It tastes better than respect when it's fake." He took a slow sip and looked up at the sky. "I served this country in silence. I never wanted medals or headlines. But seeing today's officers, the disrespect, the power in wrong hands." He didn't finish the sentence. Inside, the commissioner arrived at the station. He walked in fast and asked, "Where is he?" Tariq pointed to the bench outside. The commissioner removed his hat, walked up to the old man, and said softly, "Sir, I'm sorry." The old man didn't look at him. "I'm not angry," he said. "I'm disappointed." The commissioner sat beside him. "They're young, arrogant. They need training. They need purpose," the old man replied. "Uniforms don't create heroes. Hearts do." Back at the station, Tariq called everyone into a room. The old man entered last. All officers stood up, silent. He looked at them, one by one. Then he said, "You wear this badge to protect, not to insult. One small action, one wrong word, can destroy someone's trust in the police forever." No one moved. He continued, "I won't file a case. I don't want punishment. I want change." Then he looked directly at Imran and Danish. "You have 24 hours to prove you still deserve this uniform." Imran looked shocked. "Sir, what should we do?" The old man replied, "Go outside, help someone, save someone. Do what real officers do. And tomorrow, I will decide." Then he walked out without waiting for a reply. Everyone stood there frozen. Assad whispered, "He's not just a man. He's a mirror. He shows us who we really are." The sun was rising, but the police station was still wide awake. Officers had not slept. Their minds were restless. The old man's last words echoed in the room. "You have 24 hours to prove you still deserve this uniform." Imran and Danish sat in silence. For the first time, they felt shame, not fear. Assad, the junior officer, couldn't stop thinking, who is this man? Why do big officers speak to him with such respect? He went to Officer Tariq. "Sir," Assad asked softly, "what do you know about him?" Tariq took a deep breath. "I can't tell you everything. Most of it is still secret. But I can tell you this." Flashback begins. More than 20 years ago, there was a special officer. No one knew his name. He had no photos, no interviews. But he was always there. Every time the country was in danger, he stopped bomb blasts. He caught foreign agents. He once saved a minister's life, all without a single news report. Some called him the ghost with a badge. He trained spies. He wrote the rules. Even army generals respected him. But one day he disappeared. No one saw him again. Some said he died. Others said he retired quietly. Tariq looked at Asad. That old man is him, and now he's back. Asad felt chills down his spine. The man they had insulted was a legend. Not just a hero, he was the one who made heroes. Outside the station, the old man sat in the black SUV. The man in the suit beside him was Major Rahim, his old student. "You didn't have to come back like this, sir," Rahim said. "I didn't want to," the old man replied, "but they forced me." Rahim nodded. "You could have called anyone. A single call, and those 2 officers would have lost their jobs forever." The old man looked out the window. "If I destroy them, they'll never learn. But if I give them a chance, maybe they'll change." Rahim smiled. "Still teaching us, sir." The old man said nothing. Back at the station, Imran and Danish were preparing to leave. "We need to do something," Danish said. Imran nodded. "Yes, or we'll be done." They went to poor areas of the city, searching for problems they could solve. They helped fix a broken pipe in a widow's house. They stopped a drunk man who was harassing people. They even helped a small child cross the road safely. But it didn't feel enough. That evening, they heard something on the police radio. Code red, "Child kidnapped." Last seen near City Park. Imran and Danish looked at each other. "No time to think. Let's go." Meanwhile, Asad was watching old records. He found one small photo, half torn, with a handwritten note. The man who saved the city in silence. It was him. He finally understood why he felt that strange respect on the first night. The eyes, the silence, the calm. This man had faced more danger than any of them ever would. As the sun set, the SUV stopped again outside the police station. The old man stepped out. Major Rahim handed him a phone. "Sir, news is coming in. Those 2 officers, they just saved a kidnapped child." The old man said nothing, but his eyes showed something new, just a small light of hope. Inside the police station, reporters were already gathering. News channels had heard about the rescue, but they were more interested in one question. Who was the old man who changed the station in one night? They showed blurry footage of him on TV. He's not a politician. He's not a businessman. He's someone powerful and dangerous. Online, people started sharing stories. "My uncle says this man once stopped a terrorist at a railway station. My father remembers a nameless officer who saved lives during the border attack. Maybe it's him." No one could confirm. And the old man didn't care. That night, he called Asad alone. "You have a good heart," he said. "Don't lose it." Asad replied, "Sir, what will happen to those 2?" The old man smiled gently. "That depends on what they do next." He turned and walked away again. Still calm, still silent, still a mystery. The next morning came fast. For some, it was just another day. But for Imran and Danish, it was the most important day of their careers. They had one question in their minds. Will he forgive us? They reached the police station early, wearing clean uniforms, standing tall, but inside, they were nervous like never before. In the corner of the room, Asad watched them quietly. He had seen the change in their eyes. Something was different now. Are they acting, he wondered, or have they really changed? Just then, Officer Tariq entered. "He's coming in 30 minutes, he announced. Get ready." The room froze. Everyone knew who he was. Outside, a small crowd had gathered. The story of the mysterious old man was now trending online. People were curious. Some wanted to see a legend. Others wanted justice. But the old man didn't care about attention. He stepped out of the black SUV, holding a small brown file in his hand. His steps were slow, but his presence was heavy. Everyone stood as he entered. Imran and Danish stood straight, eyes down. He walked past them without a word. Then he turned. "Follow me." They entered a small room, just the 3 of them. No cameras, no reporters, no sound. The old man sat down. Imran and Danish stood in front of him like schoolboys. He looked at them for a long moment, then finally asked, "Why did you become police officers?" Imran cleared his throat. "For respect, sir. For power." The old man nodded. "You got the power, and you used it to insult a man walking home." Danish stepped forward. "Sir, we were wrong. Truly, we were arrogant. We judged you without knowing anything." Imran added, "But after what happened, we saw things differently. Yesterday we saved a child, not because of fear, but because we wanted to do the right thing." The old man stared at them in silence. Then he placed the brown file on the table. He opened it slowly. Inside were photos, reports, letters, all from his years of service. "I never wanted medals," he said, "but these remind me who I was." He handed them one photo. It showed him, much younger, standing in front of a burning building, carrying a child in his arms. Imran's voice cracked. "Sir, I don't deserve to see this." The old man said, "You didn't, but maybe now you do." He stood up. "I forgive you." Both men looked shocked. "But not because you asked." He continued, "I forgive you because I saw a spark, a small one, but it's there. And if you want to earn your place in this uniform, protect that spark. Don't let it die." They nodded, tears in their eyes. As they left the room, Assad ran to them. "What happened?" Imran smiled. "He forgave us." Assad smiled back. "You're lucky." "No," Danish said. "We're changed." Later that day, the commissioner arrived again. He offered the old man a medal, a ceremony, even a press conference. But the old man shook his head. "I didn't come for fame. I came for a reason, and that reason is complete." He picked up his file and walked out. As he walked through the station one last time, all officers stood in silence. Some saluted, some lowered their heads. All of them respected him now, not out of fear, but out of something greater, honor. At the gate, Assad followed him. "Sir, one last question. Why didn't you fight back that night?" The old man smiled gently. "Sometimes silence is louder than shouting, and sometimes it teaches more." He placed a hand on Assad's shoulder. "Don't be loud, be strong." Then he stepped into the black SUV and disappeared down the road. But one thing was clear. The station would never be the same again. And neither would the men inside. The old man was gone. But his presence still lived inside the police station like a quiet shadow. Every officer had changed. Some now walked straighter. Some spoke more carefully. Others stopped using their position for ego. But for Assad, something was still not finished. He couldn't stop thinking about the brown file the old man carried. What was inside it? He wondered. Why did he bring it here? And why now? One afternoon, Assad was cleaning the office when he noticed something strange in the drawer of the small interview room. A file, a brown file. He picked it up slowly. It looked exactly like the one the old man carried. He looked around. No one was watching. He opened it carefully. Inside were copies of letters, old photos, and a sealed envelope marked, "To be opened only when the time is right." His hands trembled. Was this left here on purpose? He thought for a long moment, then placed the envelope in his pocket and took the file to Officer Tariq. Tariq read the papers with deep silence. "These are not normal documents," he whispered. There were mission reports, names of undercover agents, and coded messages from long ago. "This file belongs to national security. It's not even supposed to exist." Assad asked, "Then why did he leave it here?" Tariq slowly turned to him. "Because he wants someone to know the truth, someone he trusts." Assad swallowed hard. "You think that's me?" That night, Assad sat in his small room, staring at the sealed envelope. He finally opened it. Inside was a short handwritten letter. "If you are reading this, it means you care enough to search deeper. You remind me of myself, when I was your age, curious, quiet, watching everything. What you hold in your hands is a truth the world has forgotten. But now, it's time to protect it. Go to House No. 17 Rose Street. There you will find the answers. No name, just a small signature, Ah. The next morning, Assad took a leave from duty and quietly went to Rose Street. It was a quiet lane with old houses, all looking the same. House No. 17 had no nameplate. The gate was rusty. The garden was full of weeds, but something about it felt alive. He knocked once. No answer. He knocked again. Still silence. Then the gate creaked open, slowly, by itself. Assad stepped in. Inside the house, it smelled of old wood and dust. He walked slowly through the dark hallway. On the wall were photos, some of soldiers, some of national flags, and one with the old man standing beside a young boy. Assad looked closer. The boy looked like him? No, not exactly him, but very similar. Was this the old man's son? He kept walking until he reached a locked door at the back. There was a note on it. Truth is never far, just beyond the fear. He pushed the door gently. It opened. Inside was a small room with a wooden desk, a shelf full of files, and a large map on the wall. The desk had one thing on it, a small diary. He opened it. It was the old man's personal journal. Page by page, Assad read about hidden missions, betrayals, sacrifices, and regrets. He learned that the old man had once lost his own son during an operation. The boy had followed him into the field, secretly wanting to be like his father, but he was killed. Since then, the old man left the field life. He vanished from public view. He trained quietly, guided officers in secret, always in the shadows. And now, he wanted to leave that legacy with someone else. Someone like Assad. Assad closed the diary with tears in his eyes. He whispered, "Sir, I will not fail you." Back at the police station, Officer Tariq received a phone call from a private number. It was the old man's voice. "Did he find the house?" "Yes, sir," Tariq replied. "He found everything." There was silence on the line. Then the old man said, "Good, then the future is in safe hands now." But just as Tariq was about to hang up, he heard one more sentence. "Tell him, the real test is still coming." Click. The call ended. Outside the house on Rose Street, Assad stepped out, holding the diary. He didn't know what was coming next, but he was ready. Or at least, he thought he was. The wind was strong that evening. Clouds covered the sky like a warning. Assad stood at the edge of the street, holding the old man's diary close to his chest. He had read every word. He had seen the truth. But now, he was no longer just an officer. He was the keeper of a legacy. Back at the police station, something felt strange. The phones were silent. The air felt heavier. Officer Tariq walked in quickly and called everyone to the briefing room. "I just got an alert from intelligence," he said. "Something big is happening, and we don't have much time." He looked at Assad. "We need you." Assad stepped forward. "What's the mission?" Tariq placed a photo on the table. It showed a man, early 40s, wearing glasses, clean-shaven face. This man's name is Zahir Qureshi, a businessman on the surface, but behind the scenes, he runs illegal operations across the country. Assad frowned. "Why haven't we arrested him?" Tariq replied, "Because we never had proof. He's careful, and he's dangerous." Then Tariq pulled out a second photo. It showed Zahir with the old man. Yes, Tariq confirmed. They were once friends. Assad felt confused. "Sir, what's the connection?" Tariq said slowly, "Zahir was the man who gave wrong intel years ago, which caused the death of the old man's son." Silence filled the room. Assad whispered, "So this is personal." Tariq nodded. "Very personal." The mission was clear now. Zahir was planning something dangerous in the next 24 hours. They didn't know the full plan, only that it involved high-level people and a big shipment of illegal weapons. And now, only Assad had the key to stop him. That night, Assad sat alone in his room, rereading the old man's last journal entry. "One day you will face a choice, justice or revenge. Choose wisely, because your answer will define your future." He didn't know what the choice would be, but something inside told him it was coming soon. The next morning, Imran and Danish joined Assad. They had changed completely, more respectful, more focused. "We're with you," Imran said. "Whatever happens." Danish added, "No more mistakes, not this time." Assad smiled. "Good, because we don't have room for errors." The team split up. Assad and Danish followed a black van seen near Zahir's warehouse. Imran went to the port, where a suspicious container was about to arrive. Officer Tariq stayed at HQ, monitoring everything. In the dark streets near the warehouse, Assad and Danish found the van parked. They waited. 2 men stepped out, opened the back door, and pulled out crates filled with weapons. Assad quickly took photos and sent them to Tariq. "Got it," Tariq replied. "We need backup. But be careful, they might be armed." Just then, someone grabbed Danish from behind. "Don't move," a voice growled. Assad turned quickly, but a gun was now pointed at his chest. The man holding the gun was Zahir Qureshi himself. "So," Zahir said coldly, "you must be the new puppy he trained." Assad stayed calm. "You remember him, don't you?" Zahir smirked. "Of course. I remember his silence, just like I'll remember your last breath." But Assad was already pressing a hidden button in his pocket, sending an emergency signal. Suddenly, sirens, cars, lights. Dozens of officers surrounded the warehouse. Zahir tried to run, but Imran and Danish blocked him from both sides. The old man's training had worked. In just seconds, Zahir was on his knees. Back at the police station, Assad sat with the man who caused the death of the old man's son. Zahir laughed. "What now? Going to kill me?" Assad stared at him. For a moment, revenge burned inside him. But then, he remembered the journal. "Choose justice, not revenge." Assad stood up. "No, I'm not like you." He handed Zahir over to the officials. "You'll face the law." That night, Assad received a call from a private number. It was his voice. The old man. "I watched everything," he said quietly. "You passed." Assad replied, "I didn't do it for you, sir. I did it because it was right." The old man smiled through the phone. "That's exactly why you're ready." Before hanging up, the old man gave one last message. "Meet me tomorrow. One final truth remains." Click. The line went dead. The sun was just rising when Assad arrived at the location. It was quiet, peaceful. Old trees stood tall on both sides of the road. Birds were singing. The air felt calm. But inside, Assad's heart was beating fast. This was the place the old man told him to come. A small house stood ahead, built with stone. Simple, silent. Assad stepped forward and knocked on the door. It opened slowly, and there he was. The old man. He looked older now, tired, but his eyes were still sharp. He smiled. "Come in." Assad entered. The room smelled like tea and old paper. Photos covered the wall, memories of missions, friends and family long gone. The old man pointed to a chair. "Sit. There's something I need to tell you." Assad sat down, listening closely. The old man spoke slowly. "You already know what happened to my son, but there's one thing I never told anyone." He walked over to a small wooden box and opened it. Inside was a photo of a little boy, maybe 4 years old, holding a toy police car. Assad looked at the photo and froze. The boy looked just like him. He whispered, "Sir, who is this?" The old man sat beside him. "That boy is you." Silence. Assad didn't understand. "What do you mean?" The old man's voice softened. "You were adopted by a kind family after your real parents died in an accident. But before that, your father was a dear friend of mine, and your mother was my daughter." Assad's eyes filled with tears. "Then, you're my—" "Yes." The old man nodded. "I'm your grandfather." The world around Assad felt like it stopped. All the pieces now made sense. The photo in the house, the way the old man watched him, the feeling of connection since day one. "Why didn't you tell me earlier?" he asked. The old man looked down. "Because I wanted you to become strong on your own. If I told you, maybe you would have felt pressure or fear. I wanted to see who you really were." He smiled faintly. "And now I know. Tears rolled down Assad's cheeks. I looked up to you as a hero, and now I find out you're my family. The old man stood up and placed a hand on his shoulder. You earned your place, not by blood, but by your choices. Later that day, they sat together under a tree. The old man handed Assad a box. Inside were his medals, a journal, and a badge with the number 017, the old man's original ID. These belong to you now, he said. Not because you're my grandson, but because you lived with honor. Assad held the badge tightly. He didn't speak. He didn't have to. Back at the police station, everyone welcomed him with pride. Imran and Danish saluted him. Tariq shook his hand. You did more than we ever expected, he said. Assad replied with a smile, I only did what was right. A few days later, a small ceremony was held, not with cameras or press, but just close friends and officers. The old man stood beside Assad as he was promoted. His nameplate now read, Assad Rehman, Inspector. But for Assad, the real reward was not the promotion. It was knowing who he was, and more importantly, who he had become. After the ceremony, the old man walked away quietly, like he always did. Assad ran after him. Will I see you again? He asked. The old man turned, smiled, and said, You don't need to. I'm in here now. He touched Assad's heart gently. Then he walked off into the distance and disappeared into the morning fog. Assad stood there for a while. Then he turned, walked back into the station, and got to work. Not for power, not for position, but to protect people, just like his grandfather once did.